Alright, let's talk numbers. Do you know how many monsters there are in Monster Hunter Wilds? 29. 29 large monsters. Each monster can be offset, but how many monsters have a power clash? If we include guardian monsters, it's 8. That's a quarter of the roster. What about alphas? How many alphas are in this game? Just one. Even though we run into multiple packs of monsters naturally while grinding for gear, or even through the story. And for my final question, when was the last time you actually used Environmental Link? I can tell you exactly the one and only time I used Environmental Link, and it was during the beta. By accident. Because I thought that was how you needed to get your friends on the same quest. That's it. I did it by accident. Each concept is a cool idea that seems like it was the start of something big. But over time, with issues with development and time constraints, these concepts have become more half-baked and lukewarm. Now, before I go into details, I have to mention this sign. I am going to criticize Monster Hunter Wilds in its current state, which is pretty taboo amongst most of the community.
Neil! It's your grief counselors. We've come to hug.
I understand things are subject to change and that my concerns could be irrelevant in a few months. So let's get into it. Offsets are super cool, regardless of the monster, you can go toe-to-toe with their incoming attack. Then, I saw power clashes. A cool animation combined with a bit of a knockdown while being slightly more cinematic than offsetting an attack, in my opinion. While progressing through the game, I couldn't wait to try other weapons, especially ones with shields so that I could do some power clashing of my own, which did happen. Most of our in-game grinding was loading up a full lobby of the boys and doing tempered arcvelds for Ardian and gem rewards. But then something happened. When we switched to other monsters, I stopped getting power clashes. Confused, I looked around and saw that only certain monsters have this animation. While some other monsters have a cool animation for blocking their beam attack. It's actually pretty sick. It seemed weird that all monsters could be offset, but not every monster had a power clash. I understand that the offset animation is just tied to a knockdown, so it's easy to replicate it for every monster, but I guess I had bigger expectations.
Do you like the dream? Hey, I like the dream.
In classic me fashion, I searched through Reddit to see if there's any information on why or what happened. A popular comment seems to be that it's due to monster body types, like brutish monsters that power through things, like Doshiguma and Arkfeld. They're bulky and use their strength a lot. Things like Raidal don't have that type of strength. To be fair to the poster, they also say it's most likely due to lack of time. I'm willing to buy into this theory if it weren't for the fact that Chatacabra also has a power clash. So, for me to believe in this theory, I would have to believe that Chatacabra would have more strength and power than something like Gormagala or Raidal. Oh my. Capcom changed my mind on this. Make a 20-star Chatacabra event quest, and one of his punches just knocks you the...
Do you like the dream?
I guess we should get this out of the way, but the monsters that can power clash are Chatacabra, Doshiguma, Guardian Doshiguma, Blaganga, Ajarikan, Arkfeld, Guardian Arkfeld, Uthduna, and Kongalala. Just kidding. Only one of the monkeys has a power clash.
What?
At the time of this video, there's been zero information on new power clashes being added in, so we're just going to throw the sign up from earlier. Oop, not that. And now let's explore a bit why this feels bad. I've brought up offsets when talking about power clashes because they are connected. There are 4 categories that all weapons in Monster Hunter Wilds fall into. You have your weapons that are capable of offsets, power clashes, evasion and counters, and weapons that can do both. LBG, I don't really know what you do. You've completely lost your identity here. I don't know.
What?
So we have a whole archetype of weapons where their main gimmick for this Monster Hunter game only works on a quarter of the monsters available. I think I've talked this to death at this point, but you get it. It's weird, it feels bad. With no further talk on the subject, Power Clash might fade away and become abandoned. Looking at the numbers, it would require the next 13 monsters added to Wilds to be able to Power Clash in order to bump up the ratio between monsters and clashes available to reach a 50%, instead of its current 25%. Which is possible, it could happen. With all of this being said, do these facts take away from Monster Hunter Wilds as a whole? Not really. Do the people who use weapons capable of Power Clash get the short end of the stick when it comes to the different archetypes? Yeah. Power Clashes feel really good. They're well balanced, they don't happen too often, and it gives your weapon a moment to shine. As we progress further through Wilds, the amount of staggering from wounds or regular gameplay will slow down, which will over time increase the value of offsets and Power Clashes. Power Clash is a loved addition to the Monster Hunter series. Out of the 3 concepts, this is the one I have most faith in to have more additions and expanded upon as the game progresses. Alright, we can check that off the list and get into alphas. Lots to talk about here, guys. Listen up. A total of 1 monster with no idea what alphas are even supposed to accomplish. Alright. Alphas are handled just like any other pack of monsters in this game. You hit them with a dung pod and we're back to business as usual. If Wilds didn't promote alpha monsters in a lot of their promos, you'd probably forget they were even part of this game. I mean, honestly, even with all the promotion that they did do, I still forget they exist. So, they're bigger, usually a gold crown, and some posts say they have more stats than their regular counterparts. After debunking frenzied monsters, I'm kind of skeptical. I also get things wrong, so take the stats info with a grain of salt. So story-wise, environmental-wise, it makes sense. Certain packs of animals have alphas that lead the pack. It's an addition that tries to bring life and realism to the world we're playing in. So, here's all the ways it could have been used. Near the beginning of the game, we're chased by a pack of worm dudes. Just make one of those bigger. Then a little further in, we get introduced to a quest to a pack of 3 flying dudes. We can just make this guy a little bigger. And now let's use an example outside of the story. You know those random times you get that weird event where the forest is filled with nothing but yin cuckoos? Make one of these, king of the assholes. That said, should all packs have an alpha? Probably not. Alpha animals aren't really common in the real world, but this is a video game, you'd probably expect more than one. I think it's kind of funny that the Monster Hunter series has already kind of tackled this issue before. Lagonga is twice as strong as Blongos. They're more aggressive and have a more complex moveset. This structure is just the same as alphas. The difference being the pack is made up of Blongos and they're categorized as small monsters, while alphas are part of a pack that are categorized as large monsters. Lagonga is a large monster, while the alpha is a larger monster, I guess. They're different, but also they're the same. When you stop to think about the alpha system and how it interacts with your gameplay, you'll realize that the time for alphas to shine was during the story or while progressing through low rank and high rank. Monster Hunter's endgame is usually picking a monster, picking a quest, loading in, and hunting your objective. The story thrusts you into different kinds of interactions, usually walking around until a threat appears, or multiple, bringing you to new areas, asking you to explore them, discovering the monsters that reside there. These are all perfect moments to run into the alpha system, which they did with Doshiguma. Probably could have done that a few more times. Of course, we still have Master Rank and more story to come from Wilds, so it's possible we'll see more interactions with the alpha system along the way. It's just a shame that we've progressed through so much of the story already. We've already gone through low rank and a good amount of high rank. We've explored 5 different new areas, while showing off everything that alpha system has to offer in the first 30 minutes. For the entire game. to never pop up again. I do love this game, I swear. I just like talking about things. I just like being critical.
Weasley little liar, dude.
So let's add a little bit of cope. Let's add a little guiding lands to the equation. It's a cool system. It's easy to hop in with friends and just mindlessly hunt. It gave rewards that were important, and you just basically lived in the environment. Some monsters would pop up randomly, and with the alpha system, this could lead us to summoning packs of monsters into the area, accompanied by an alpha. You're there to mindlessly hunt, so odds are you'll hunt the alpha. You might run into alphas while doing random quests in the plains, but there's never any reason to go out of your way to fight it since you're there for your main objective and the really good quest rewards. The way alphas function now is you'll maybe run into one while you're doing a quest and say, oh neat, and that's kind of it. It's eye candy, it makes the world feel real. Not entirely a bad thing, but from a gameplay standpoint, it's a bit lacking. There's no guiding lands in wilds yet, but we do have environmental link. I've seen it promoted by the official Monster Hunter streams a few times, and every time I see them or anyone else talk about it, I ask myself why. I love this game, by the way. Environmental link at its core is mindlessly hunting everything on the map with friends without having to pick a quest. So why would anyone do this? For fun? You guys are out here playing games for fun. Are you stupid? But for real, comment below and tell me why. I don't ever see people talking about the link system, and I need to know. The other reason to use environmental link would be to farm monster parts. Unfortunately, investigations just do this better, especially considering you can just get investigations that guarantee gems and what have you. With the link system, you can avoid the 5 to 10 seconds load screens. With investigations, you'll probably only need to kill a monster once to get everything you need for the individual armor piece you want to make, and probably more. And if you're interested in seeing all the sites Monster Hunter Wilds has to offer, again, investigations just do it better. When you join an environmental link, you're locked to that locale. If you start one in the plains, you're stuck in the plains. Investigations, especially for certain monsters or multiple monsters, will send you to all the locales. Sometimes even the arena area, if you're lucky. I can see this being a somewhat neutral point if you're someone who loves a certain locale, like the Scarlet Forest. If I was forced to play in an environmental link, it'd definitely be in the forest. But what I'm saying is, environmental link is inefficient. It's like trying to eat soup with a fork. Let's not get things mixed up here. I've mentioned guiding lands a few times, grouping it with environmental link. I don't think environmental link will be the next guiding lands. Its format, its structure, its own name heavily implies that this system is just to function as a multiplayer tool. Load up a full link, fish together, sightsee together, and hunt together. It's just chill vibes. What environmental link and the open world itself needs is specific events. I say open world because that's what environmental link revolves around. The open world already has a few random events that will play out, especially with crazy weather changes, but there's no incentive on the open world mechanic. If you're looking for a specific investigation, you rest loop till you find it. Indirectly, the open world mechanic is used here, but direct involvement and desire to do anything in the open world it's kind of missing. Much like alphas, the open world and environmental link is eye candy. It's a cool idea to know that I could leave town and run into monsters living their lives, or take my friends to just go live in a locale and fight monsters. Gameplay wise, for things like open world, it's kind of just a tool. For me personally, when I think about using the environmental link to mindlessly hunt for subpar rewards with friends, I ask myself why. Instead, I could play other games that will give me an incentive to work towards. Or, again, if I wanted to hunt something, I'd just do an investigation. There is no journey tied to the open world unless you're one of those people who need to make every single piece of gear available. But even then, again, investigations are just faster. Using the open world and environmental link is more of just a chilling vibe, something to just pass the time. It's not a bad thing, it's just not engaging. Just to be clear, while I'm wrapping things up, I've criticized alphas and environmental link for just being eye candy. That in and of itself isn't a bad thing. Games need eye candy. Why I feel let down comes from the amount of advertising that went into the introduction to alphas and how they seemed like it would be a popular mechanic, as well as all the streams I see putting emphasis on environmental link for it just to be kind of lackluster. And power clashes. I mean, come on. I'd understand if it was flipped, where most monsters could be power clashed except for 5 to 6. But the way it is now is weird. Like, I don't expect to power clash against one of those flying dudes or one of the worm dudes. I get it. I just think it's way too good of an addition to only be limited to such a small pool of monsters. As I've brought up my special sign here during the video, I understand that the criticisms I've levied against these 3 topics can be fixed, tweaked, or overhauled, and I hope they do. Realistically speaking, I can't imagine they'll get any kind of fixes until we move into the next rank, or at least another 6 months. The Monster Hunter team is always moving forward with new content. If time permits, they usually circle around and touch things up, like Hammer. Hammer has always been a low performer in Wilds. 3 months after a release, we finally got buzz for it, which is good. Thank God. This isn't a diss towards the Monster Hunter team or anything like that. It's just to put in perspective that if you were looking for changes for the 3 topics I've discussed, then it's probably a long wait. Hopefully I'm wrong and the team's already working on it. I'd happily be wrong if that's the case, but yeah. I'm a YouTuber who likes to learn about how the community feels about the topics I bring up. Even though I don't comment on everything, I absolutely read all the comments to learn the different perspectives people have on things. So let me know what you think and your own expectation of these things, and seriously comment below and tell me if you use environmental link and tell me about the experience. I want to understand where people are coming from when they say they like environmental link. I search it on Reddit, I don't really see a lot of people talk about it, so it's just like, I need someone to talk about it. Feel free to subscribe for more Monster Hunter content. I swear I'm not always critical about it. I do actually like the game, I swear. Support the Patreon so I can afford to make more videos, and thanks for watching. I appreciate you. I'll see you later.